Hey everyone, it's Kim with your Angel GPS, and I'm back with your messages and guidance for the upcoming week, April 21st through the 27th. And for this week's reading, I decided to go with sorry about that glare there, the Angel Dreams Oracle cards. This is always an interesting deck. Messages are they're always great messages, they're always accurate messages, but the way they're put forth on these cards, you'll see what I mean. The first card I have for you today is white. Whoops, there we go. I don't know why I'm having a glare issue today, but so we have white. I know, sounds kind of drab and boring, but the symbolism of white on this card is actually referring to like source energy and divine energy. White is symbolic of that source energy, of the divine. It's a symbolic of enlightenment. And this card is reminding you that you are a part of that source energy. You are a piece of that divine. And everything that you really have, everything that you really need, you already have inside of you because you are source. You are the divine source energy. There's also the enlightenment part of this card, which is reminding you that you don't need to look outside of yourself for answers and wisdom and things like that, because it is all inside of you. So it's encouraging you to kind of go within and really get in touch with your own core, with your own source energy, and really acknowledge whatever you want to call it, whether it's intuition or your higher self. The guidance that you're getting from this inner source of yours is really all that you need to move forward in your life and make the right choices and pursue the right path for you, as long as you get in touch with that. Also, if you remember from way back when we were kids, and they taught us about the colors, you'll know that white is actually, it's not just a color, it's all colors. It's reflective of every color in the spectrum, and we see it as just that pure white light. So this again is reminding you that you are that pure white light. You are all colors. You are everything that you need. So there's a lot of symbolism behind this little card here. But it's really encouraging you, as I said, to just get in touch with yourself and acknowledge that you have that within you, and have that confidence to just listen to yourself, listen to your higher guidance, and move forward doing what you know is right for you. All that you need is within you. You don't need to look outside of yourself for anything. You've got it. The second card I have for you is, whoops, there we go, winter. And winter, of course, is, as a season, it's kind of a time of dormancy, of just kind of, it's a kind of a transitional phase where after the fall, the trees all lose their leaves and everything, and all the foliage kind of dies off, and now winter, it's all a dormant state, but things are going on behind the scenes, things are going on underground with seeds and whatnot, where things are getting ready to regenerate and starting to transition into a new phase of new growth and rebirth and whatnot. That would be spring. And so this winter card right now is it's referring to actually this time for you or time period that you've been going through, where things may have been kind of at a standstill or stagnant. It was a dormancy phase that you needed to go through, because there are new phases and new things coming for you, but you kind of need that transition to kind of sit back, relax, kind of reflect on the way things were. Again, get in touch with that inner self, get in touch with your divine self, and really get a clear idea of where you want to, which direction you want to move in, where you want to go, and kind of have all that clear in your mind as we go through this little phase of transition, because as things start moving forward again, you want to make sure you're pointing yourself in the right direction here. I find it kind of interesting with both of these cards too. There have been a lot of messages lately about, with the daily guidance cards that I post on Facebook, we've had a lot of messages this week referring to exploring your options and changing your direction and that sort of thing. And we just also had a full moon, which, of course, as we all know, is a symbol. It's not a symbol. It is the end of a phase and the beginning of a new one. So again, we have that message with the winter about a transitional end of the phase, the completion of a cycle, and getting ready to start a whole new one. So we're kind of really in that energy right now, where this is the time for you, again, to get in touch with your divine self and come clear on what you want and release anything that's really just not working for you. Kind of like, the leaves all, or the trees all lose their leaves, and release those because they don't need them right now. Anything that's going on, any, things that that you might be doing in life, or a path that you're on that just really doesn't seem to be cutting it for you. Maybe even feeling a little bit restless lately, like there's something better out there, or this is okay, but I'm kind of bored. I want to move on. I want more out of life. This is your transitional dormant stage, where it's time to get in touch with yourself and release all of these things that just aren't doing it for you anymore. There's something much better out there for you if this is the case and you're having these feelings. There's something better. So go ahead and release everything that's just not doing it for you and make that room in your life for this new phase and transition into this whole new beginning for yourself. And remember, everything you need is within you, so don't be looking to the outside, external forces. You've got everything you need to make this all happen for you right now. And our final card, it's going to look a little odd at first, but bear with me, I'll explain. Our final card is bathroom. I know, like I said, these cards are always very interesting to work with. But the symbolism of this card with the bathroom is the bathroom is a place of cleansing and purifying. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean physically, although of course bathing is always encouraged. In this particular case with this card, it's referring to more of like a spiritual, emotional cleansing, cleansing of the soul, that sort of thing. And as we said with there we go, with our winter card here, taking that time to really just go within, again also with the enlightenment of the white card, this is a good time to be really just going within, as I said, and releasing anything, and even not just releasing things and situations and whatnot that aren't serving you any purpose in your life or you're ready to move on from, but also a cleansing and a purifying of your own energy, your own spiritual energy, really getting in touch with yourself and just knowing who you really are and what you really want and going with that. And we also, again, that was another message that, well, actually, it's coming up in tomorrow. I've already scheduled tomorrow's daily guidance card for Facebook. But again, the card that's going to be coming up as that daily card is all about a spiritual and mental, emotional cleansing. In that particular case, it's talking about getting out into nature, which is always a perfect thing to do, especially this time of year with it being spring. We do have Easter this weekend and Passover, and for a lot of people, that's when spring really begins, even though it started last March, or last month, I should say, in March. A lot of people don't really consider it to be spring until we get to Easter, we get to Passover, and then that's really when all of the signs of spring are really starting to become visible with the flowers and the buds on the trees and whatnot. So that's when people really start thinking that it's spring. And so that's where this is coming up about this change in the new phase for you. That's what I was looking for. And this cleansing, this purifying, think of it doing it like a personal spring cleaning, cleaning your thoughts, cleaning up your mind, cleaning up your emotions, just doing a total spiritual cleansing, refreshing yourself, and becoming clear on exactly which direction you want to move in. Consider all of your options, decide what you really want to do by listening to your own inner guidance, your own divine self, and then trust that divine guidance, because who knows you better than you? And your divine guidance is the true you. You are that divine source energy. There's nothing better out there, so listen to that. But go through that little period, like I said, of that spiritual, emotional cleansing sort of thing to really get clear on yourself. Make sure all your thoughts are positive, high vibrational energy type thoughts and everything, and start moving forward with things that you know are really going to work for you. Spring is that time of rebirth, so it's time to really start changing that direction and making those necessary changes that you really need to do in your life right now to really ensure your own personal happiness. So, I think it's always kind of fun when the cards that I have for weekly reading really coincide with the daily cards too. That really means this is something really important that the angels really want to get across to you this week, is start looking at these changes and becoming clear on what it is. And like I said, if you've been feeling kind of restless or kind of stagnant, just bored maybe even with the way things are, that's a sign, that's a signal telling you that it's time for you to move on. It's time for a new direction. You've pretty much exhausted all of the resources that you've been using up to this point, learning all of the lessons that you had to learn. Everything has already served its purpose, and now you know there's something more out there for you. So it's time for you to get in touch with yourself and decide, consider all the options, like I said, and decide what it is that you really, what your next step is really going to be for you. And you'll know when something comes up, you're just going to know if that's the right thing for you or not. And then it's time to go ahead and take those steps. So that's all I have for you for this week. I'll be back next weekend with more messages and guidance from the angels. I'll see you then.